my series on organization and self-promotion for artists and entrepreneurs touches on this. And it's about 4 episodes in now. I have 9 planned for the series. But it touches on that. Like, we all have these ideas that are so grand and big, and a lot of time that when we don't follow through on these big things is because we have this huge idea but don't know where to start. And so I talk about how to break up a big idea into chunks and then put those smaller chunks into your schedule and actually start to do them. And so that's what I did. I took these big ideas that I wanted to do, and I broke them up into manageable chunks, and then I took one chunk at a time and put it in my calendar. And then I did them. And if I felt myself getting too overwhelmed at a chunk, I would take that chunk and break it into smaller chunks and then do them and then spread them out so I didn't get overwhelmed. That's what I've always professed the benefits of having a calendar, especially a digital calendar and a digital to-do list. But one of the greatest things about it is it's so helpful not only to your progress and to your motivation, but also your mental health. When you're getting overwhelmed by something, you can see it visually, see the task visually, and then break it into smaller chunks and then spread it out, and then it just becomes so much easier to do. And I've always found that doing that visually is just so conducive to good progress and good mental health.
I love that you actually, because this is what I tell people to do, or, when someone's coming to me, like, this is what, and then that's what I've heard I should do, but I don't do it. It's like, you're like, okay, this is what you do, and I actually do it, and I'm very successful, and I've done all this, and this is all I've accomplished. I'm like, oh, if I would have done the chunks and the chunks, then I probably could have done a lot more. But it's so you figured out how to get out of your own way, and that's amazing, because I always find that I'm my worst enemy, which is very healthy, but I'm the one standing in my way all the time, and you're just like, I figured this out, this is what I do, and I'm going to share it, and I love it.
Yeah, I figured it out, I shared it, and I've been helping people individually. Like, every now and then I'll put out like a post, like, does anyone need help with anything? Does anyone need to help organizing their goals, their life, or anything like that?
You did something recently. I'm like, this guy is so nice.
And I do that, so I've done it individually. Like, I'll do a Zoom call, and then I'll remote access their computer, and I'll set it all up for them. I'm like, and then they'll do it for a while, and then I'll check in with them, and I'll say, are you getting overwhelmed? Is it hard? Like, yeah, I'm having some issues. And then I look at their calendar, I'm like, okay, so you've put some very big things into your calendar. Your calendar is very ambitious. I've noticed some trends here that you're not scheduling in free time. And that's the thing. A lot of people, when they first start going at their calendar and organizing their time, they get very ambitious. It's the same thing I did when I started. Everyone's ambitious. I'm going to do all this work, and then they burn out fast, and then they never look at their calendar ever again. Like, no, it didn't work for me.
My pandemic life.
Yeah. And I'm like, it might not have worked for you at first, but that just means it needs to be reworked. You just need to try it again and make these alterations. And then for the people that stick with it, they're like, yeah, they're a year in, and they're like, yeah, I'm getting so much done, but I had to learn to scale back, and I had to learn to accept how many spoons I had in a day, how much energy I had in the day, how much physical energy, how much emotional energy, how much mental energy that I had in a day, and seeing it visually and marking down when I got burned out. People would put their own spin on it. People would, like, yeah, if I felt burned out, I would write it into my calendar and say, this is when I got burned out. And then I could consistently see, and something that I didn't even think of doing, they could consistently see how much creativity they could fit in a day before they got mentally burned out, how much physical activity they could fit in a day before they got burned out. And that helped them in their planning stages exponentially. And since they got better at planning and organizing their time, they accomplished way more than than the alternative of, let's just see if I feel like doing something today, and if I do, what do I feel like doing? And they look at a big task and they're like, well, that seems too big, I'm not going to do that, I'll just do this other thing. But in the to-do list, I'm
laughing just because everything you're saying is what I'm doing right now. That's why I'm not like, I love everything that you're saying.
Yeah, it's
that's why I'm struggling a bit. Cool.
And I don't, again, like, the goal is never to shame people who go at their own pace. Never to shame people who don't aren't ready to try this yet, right? Or people who have tried it and felt like it didn't work for them. The goal is never to make people feel bad for the way that they're
I don't feel like you're
progressing to their
Jewish guilty
goals.
me. It's all good. It's fine.